Welcome back to Made of Wires, special Friday episode. We're decompiling the decompilers and set Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If you're not familiar with the Castlevania Symphony of the Night decompilation project, you can go to soden.z.dev. I had a fun chat with Ethan last night and was showing him some of the stuff that I did with MIPS Match. Basically rolling hashes for finding equivalent MIPS binary. We had a nice talk about that. And I was looking at dupes, and dupes would actually benefit from some of this as well. I switched our make config script. Make config is used for generating a starting point for config, finding symbols that are duplicated between all the overlays, and the first pass of that uses MIPS match to find all the duplicate segments and sections, and that's relatively fast. But then it does use dupes to do fuzzy matching and try to find anything that MIPS match didn't find. So I was looking at dupes and the number of comparisons it does. So every time dupes wants to compare two functions, it has to do a bitwise comparison of both of those. And it compares every function with every other function, so it ends up being over 10 million comparisons, which is pretty amazing. Hash-based comparisons, though, you just have to compare the hash. For the case of MIPS match, it's a 32-bit value, goes right into a hash table. You get about 5,000 comparisons, so quite a bit fewer, and so it can run quite a bit faster. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, yesterday I had to leave early, pulled away. We were working on cleaning up some of the Cloak Knight stuff, and I want to keep working on that, adding entity extensions, and so we'll keep doing that and try to get that resolved. See how much of that we can get done. I must have that open in a tab somewhere else. Let's find it. Not that one. There we go. It's this tab. And so what I was doing yesterday to get this ready to go in is finding all of these illegal fields that are being used and try to replace them with something else. And so we need to know which entity we're in. So this is Cloak Knight. We need something in the Cloak Knight that's at offset C, and I think that's probably where this was left yesterday. As soon as I save this other file, I am going to have to rebuild the world, and so I want to try to make sure... Oh, wrong button. There we go. I want to try to reduce the number of changes that I make to this entity.h file. For the PlayStation, we actually have a pretty good dependency management story for headers, and when headers change, the build system knows which files that also need to be changed, and will do just that. But on the PSP, it's not as nice, and I'm trying to get that fixed, but I haven't made any progress yet, and we'll have to work on it. So it looks like we have this S16 at offset OC, or sorry, offset index C, so 12 signed 16s or 24 bytes past the entity extension starting point, which is 7C. That's going to be offset 94, which we don't have anything yet. So I'm going to make that a signed 16, since we know we're going to need a signed 16 there. And then we do need to fill in missing 16 bits that are there. And so the legal S16 OC, find all of those. Those are going to become Cloak Knight unknown 94. So this is another timer, it looks like. The timer is random. We could call it timer 2. We're only looking, maybe it's, if it is a timer, it's a very short-lived timer, so random, and then taking the bitwise AND of the value 3, which is the last 2 bits, so you get a value in the range of 0 to 3, and then adding 1 to that, so your range is 1 to 4. That's pretty small. If it is a timer, it's only 4 frames that are being considered. All right, I'm going to leave it as unknown 84 for now, and we'll come back a little later. Maybe never, we'll see. Go on to the next one. Unsigned 16 at offset, or index 4. So it's going to be 7C plus 8 is 84, and we do have an unknown 84. I did add that. And that one is an unsigned 16. Nothing uses that we have yet. So that's a little strange. I'm gonna build this, and we'll see. Make sure that nothing has gotten screwed up in the process. I should have done a build all. We'll get the rest of this though. So no problems on the PlayStation. Looking at the total number of things that we compare, pretty crazy stat. So we for the 3 versions of the game that we're currently building, we're building about 2,000. We have 2,000 nodes in the build graph. So 2,000 things to do to build the game, and that's, I mean, we're probably right around half of the way through the code of the PlayStation version. So we're still in the Cloak Knight with this illegal A. An illegal A is the same as illegal 10. So we can switch that. So that's going to be 8C. No, 7C plus 10 is not. That's going to be 8-4. 8-6, I'm wrong. So we need to add our 8-6 here. And make sure I got the right sign. Oh, it's only unsigned 8. Make sure it's being used the same way both places. So we'll make this a unsigned 8. Unsigned 8s are often Booleans, but not always. This was 8, 6, yeah. So we do need another one to pad out. Another field there to pad everything out, keep everything aligned correctly. I do want to make sure that this is still... So this aura is not... Oh, it is. It's referencing the parent. And we actually have an M2C generated reference to Ent13, the parent there. Let's look at that Ent13 and see what that is. We're setting it here as well, and it does look like it's a Boolean. So this is going to be cloak knight known 86. I'm going to make that a Boolean, and we'll look for other 86s. See if there's... So we only have one more to go. I'm going to look at that, like I said, N13. It's probably fine to reuse that one, but it's probably not the same entity. So let's just see what this is. So pretty odd. It looks like the parent is probably going to be aligned 4 bytes in. It's not common to have a pointer like this that's unaligned. And let's see if there's any other more generic structure that just has a reference to the parent in that 8-0 offset. HC is very common for the parent. Yeah, so only entity 13. So let's, I guess, add another entity, the Cloak Knight. I do believe, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's going to be at offset 8-0. So we're going to make a struct with 7C locked out, and then 8-0. I think the alignment is going to force this, and we'll make this a parent pointer, and we'll call this ET Night Aura. And add that to the ever-growing union. I don't know why I want Oro, but I do. And let's build all. A lot of things to build. Let's go. I meant to talk about it a little bit yesterday, but I didn't. Mr. MIDI was a regular viewer in the past, and quite a while ago, he sent me a vibe decomp video that he had made, where he was looking at Apple's FireWire drivers, And this was way back in April. I don't know if he knew or had an idea that this would be relevant, or if there's hardware. I haven't talked to him about what his motivation was for this yet. That all is working fine. And so, is this aura as well? Oh, look at that. We have the cloak. So our entity here is the aura. I'm trying to... So we're overwriting it there. So here, this should be the cape. And here we have the aura. So here we really should be going to the... Oh, we don't have an entity extension for the cape. Maybe it's the sword. Or not. Yeah, it must be the sword. Okay. So the Cloak Knight's sword. So it looks like it has a pause. It looks like the target pause maybe at a similar location to pause. Yeah, it is. So we're going to change this to Cloak Knight Sword. Make sure that worked fine. It didn't. Hey, Roaming. Good to have you back. Anyway, yeah, so he was looking at Firewire stuff, and I have a vested interest in Firewire. Let's see what's going on here. So Cloak Knight pause is at offset 88, and Cloak Knight sword target pause. Let's try it again. Oh, did I not change? Yeah, let's try it again. So I realized that that was what Mr. MIDI was working on, and reached out to him, and I'm hoping that maybe we can do some Firewire decompilation and maybe resurrect macOS Firewire support. I think that would be useful. All right, so we have the aura here, so we'll use the Cloak Knight. Aura extension with the parent field, and then we don't have to cast this anymore, which is great. And I think that might have been the end of, yeah, that's the last of the entity extensions. I'm gonna try to add all the stuff that I haven't yet. Disregard random makefile changes. I think some of that is white space. Just making sure all that looks on the up and up. right. The other thing I was looking at last night was a tool that Ethtech or Ethan wrote called Code Dog. And it's similar. Actually, I looked at that originally about I guess about 9 or 10 months ago. It was December of last year, and it's intended to do something similar to what dupes and what MIPS match do, but it does it in a distinct way that I have trouble completely understanding. I'm going to run a format. So I've talked about our lint tools in the past. I added this output not too long ago. It might be nice to have some color here, and maybe I'll do that in the past. But this shows, originally we didn't show the changes that were being made, but I thought it'd be nice to have that output in there so you could see what it was and what it became. So we have like flags getting replaced with the appropriate flags, draw modes, things like that, draw flags. Not too many things here. Hey, David Tyler. Still on the grind, of course. We're gonna load that one. Let's see what our changes were. So when make format is run, it will also clean out symbols that are no longer needed. Those aren't. Oh, interesting. Those aren't enforced by CI, and so if they're not symbols that are related to overlays that I'm working on, I don't submit them, but other people don't either. I like it when I can get symbols gone. I find that to be valuable. I don't think cloak anime is necessary anymore. But anyway, the linting process will go through and it'll reorder symbols and remove the ones that are no longer necessary. Oh, I wonder if there is other code that still relies on other assembly. eHarpy, why was that missing a license identifier? Strange. I wonder if did I recently share this? I definitely don't want that though. Yeah, I did move this. So forget what you do sometimes. Not all of the Harpy code is done yet. This is one function that was able to be shared between the PSP and PlayStation versions, and eventually that'll all be shared. We don't have anything illegal there. And I think the pad 2 anim debug actually, that should be able to be used in the Cloak Knight. Yeah, that looks... I'm hoping it's the same. We'll see. Much smaller build graph. Yep. It doesn't work. And make sure that you include the right path. Computer, just know what I mean. Yeah, that's nice. That works too. Have to submit that suppress at another time. I don't like how that was done. I don't like that either. I don't like the switch comments that M2C does. I understand why they're there. But they always have to be removed. Where were those comments? They were in eHarp. I thought oh no, I didn't have that up anymore. All right. So what were we talking about? Oh, that's interesting. Check out the unnecessary parentheses. Good job, Clang format. I don't necessarily like the cloak anim change. I guess it's probably fine. I am very particular about how I like wrapping args. But I understand the desire to share a single format. I actually saw something from Linus Torvalds about that, related to the Rust formatter and how basically he hates it, and also that it cannot be changed, because if you change Rust format or cargo format, or any other format linter for that reason, you're going to get, you know, an unreasonable amount of code churn in every repository. Based on what I did a bunch of Rust in the last couple days, and based on what I was doing with that, it seems like that language is so volatile, though, that it probably doesn't matter for Rust. David Tyler said, I see that they were able to put the original English text and dialogue on the Saturn version. I haven't seen that, actually. That's pretty cool. Is that part of like the ultimate? I haven't looked at, there is one mod that's considered the ultimate version, or, you know, self-described ultimate version, but I've not looked at it. I would really like to get into working on the Saturn version of the game. This indentation is odd too, but it looks correct. Just making sure that what I have looks good, and then I think that all right, so we do have to rebase. I'm gonna commit this, but I think I can just merge it into my previous commit. Let me commit, and then I'll rebase. and then we'll make sure that everything builds, and then I'll probably send that out for a PR. What I like to do, I will go through and do reviews locally just with a git diff, but I find GitHub, I like using terminal and console, but I actually find GitHub's diff to be pretty nice. All right, so in between when I originally wrote this and now, looks like the bone arc has been added. It's a fun entity. The bone arc is down in the catacombs. And basically we want all of these. And it's carried by 2 skeletons, and you can kill one of the skeletons and the bone arc will fall and the other skeleton runs away. It's fun. And entity.h was updated, which what? I screwed something up. I didn't look at all of the shaking. I think I might have missed a marker. A merge marker. Yep, I did. There it is. Okay, so let's go grab that. All right, away we go. Yeah, so I spent a reasonable amount of time in the last 48 hours researching URNs, cleaning up a bunch of code on MIPS match, looking at N64 stuff that I don't typically look at. I did look at more of them. So back 20 plus years ago, in college I was studying MIPS, and that was the computer architecture that we used for a bunch of classes, and so that's kind of my frame of reference, and that's what PlayStation and PSP use. And now I spent a year or so working in that space and kind of ignoring SGI and N64 and all of the other MIPS implementations. MIPS 64, which I think the PlayStation 2 may or may not implement. That all built cleaning up. Alright, so I'm gonna merge these two. I was surprised to see that MIPS 64, the instruction set is still a 32-bit instruction set, which is something that Donald Knuth really wanted for the x86 64 extensions that we all use now. And the benefit there is that your code is still 32-bit, so your code size doesn't necessarily change. The only time you just get some additional instructions for pushing data into 64-bit registers, and that's basically what MIPS 64 did. And then I also came across micro MIPS, which is also a crazy thing. I want the last 2 commits. Micro MIPS was this crazy thing where you get 16-bit instructions instead of 32. Yeah, so for the original MIPS was 32-bit, and then MIPS 64 is still 32-bit, and then micro MIPS is 16-bit. Hey Blue Harvey, good to have you back. Micro MIPS is something that I've not looked at all and don't really intend to. It seems like it's actually a mode. It's kind of like thumb instructions on ARM, if you're familiar with that. So thumb is also a way to compress instructions down into a smaller size, and the idea is you're able to have a lot more code in cache if you can work within those limitations. Thumb, yeah, it's a I think it's a 16-bit instruction set for ARM processors. So not all ARM processors support it, but many do. And so, yeah, I was looking at micro MIPS, and there's some specific instruction basically to put the MIPS processor into micro MIPS mode, and from that point forward, like, I'm guessing the next instruction is interpreted. I don't know if it's the next instruction or you like jump into an instruction, like an address that's now going to be 16-bit. Like I said, I didn't look into it deeply. I want to see. So I'm pretty familiar with the Motorola 68K, and I'm trying to see. Oh, I did have a, yeah, here it is. Yeah, that's a 16-bit instruction set. And for the most part, there's not a huge issue there. So if I remember correctly, the Motorola 68K did it have 32-bit registers? I almost think that it did. So the instruction set was 16-bit, but I'm pretty sure the registers and the address bus was as well. Yeah, 16-bit registers on the 68K. So it's kind of crazy to think about the Genesis, Sega Genesis, can address 32 bits worth of RAM. In practice, you don't have address lines, but you can map devices and other things into that. And so, like, there was specific address spaces used for FRAM that would be back on cartridges for the Sega CD, other peripherals for the cartridge, and then memory and stuff. All the devices were memory mapped. Let's see. I think that's gonna be where I'm gonna leave it. I'll get that PR cleaned up. So we finished off the Cloak Knight. That's it for that. Any other topics? I don't think so. Go to soten.z.dev, learn more about the project. I'll be back on Monday. We have to find a new part of the clock tower. There's some things in the clock tower that I would be interested in looking at. So like the gears, the hidden room, Oh, the spikes, no, the spike platforms are in the inverted clock tower, but we do have the pendulums. I don't think those exist anywhere else in the upright castle. So we'll find what we can find when we get there. Thanks, Don't Fluff the Pillows. Good to have you back. I'll see y'all on Monday. Adios.